Hey everyone, thank you for being here. I'm so glad to be back, and I'm feeling very pulled to deliver a message. Um, and the divine is has been coming through to me in meditation, and this morning I was hearing that love is on the rise, okay, and everything points back to love. Self-love first, of course, is what I always say because it's the truth. It all starts within. In order to have a fulfilling life, we must move with the direction our soul takes us, not our mind, our soul. That's the only way to have complete peace and harmony within, because that is the key to unlocking everything that comes as a result, to fulfill us, to bring to us the beautiful experience of everything we've gone through, every lesson we've learned, every loss, every gain, every movement that leads us closer to our truth and closer to divine harmony. So if you're here for the first time, I am an intuitive guide, a spiritual light coach, a messenger, and this is an all-inclusive channel for everyone. And when I give messages that are collective, if you are watching or listening, there's a really good chance that you're here because you are led to be here, because there's something in the message that you need to hear. And feel free to look back over older messages. It's not just the newer ones that resonate. Sometimes there's something in an older message that you may have missed before. So feel free to look back over some of those. You may find something there that is intended for you. As with all messages, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Feel free to comment, and I'm here to guide you and to walk with you on this journey. Okay? So in meditation this morning, I was feeling that uprising, the sort of taking charge, and I'm seeing the what do you call those where they dress in the armor, the metal armor, and they're on horses and they have these not swords, is it jousting maybe? So I'm seeing this like a knight in shining armor, right, riding forward fast on this horse with this jousting pole or whatever it is, and he's riding to victory. And so what I'm hearing here is, and what I'm feeling in this message is, your guides, your light, your soul, your fate is speaking. And so you are or have been receiving divine guidance, okay? You've been receiving divine guidance and maybe you don't realize it. But everything that you've been going through is a step in the right direction for and towards your highest good, okay? And you may think to yourself, well, I haven't been very happy. How can that be in my highest good? Because there are times when we need to go through experiences where we feel unpleasant, like an unpleasant feeling, or we're not happy in that moment, or something arises to catch your attention So I'm asked to show you this. When that happens, we are asked to observe and not act, react to it, um, sort of off the cuff. We are asked to observe. Wait a minute, why is that feeling here? Why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling fear or anger or whatever it is? Because it comes to the surface to be released, to be observed, to understand that this is a feeling, that something that has to be healed. Okay, so many of us have been on this journey, and in uh, our soul timeline, there are some who are going through timelines where that timeline has to end, right? That chapter, and something new has to begin. And so some of us have gone through and recently been sort of um, pushed into this new timeline, or at least we can observe that it's coming. And we've been experiencing a lot of things that go with that: fears, physical symptoms, and things like that. And so, what our guides are telling us is there's divine guidance here. There's higher learning here, higher knowing, and that is our soul speaking to us. That is our divine reaching out to us, saying, "Don't think that because things are changing, it's sudden. It's just all of a sudden you're in one place and the next you're in another." Your soul has its own divine timing, okay? And so what's happening is um, destined, it's fated. It is things that are happening to you within your life right now are leading up to something fated, okay? A change. A change is needed. And for a lot of us, and for all of us, we all have individual plans, right? Like our divine has an individual plan for each of us. Um, and so we all go through our own things in our own timing, in different timelines, different. We're all at different levels in our spiritual growth, in our journey in life. And so the divine wants you to know that you're going to be hearing and feeling and sensing divine guidance in one way or another through these messages, maybe through a messenger, maybe through some sort of intuition that you have that may be growing. You may be coming into an intuitive gift that you have had, just haven't accessed it. And like I said, it may be a message through someone like me that is here to assist. And so we're always, our guides are always willing to help us, but we have to do our part and be open to allow those messages to come through. And we have to allow ourselves to be in a place to accept and receive messages, even if they are something that you don't necessarily want to face. And that doesn't mean it's bad. It means it's truth that you have been hiding from. I say this a lot, and Spirit guides me through to say this a lot, because human beings have a tendency, as human beings, we have a tendency to put a Band-Aid on things. Oh, I'll deal with that later. I can't deal with that right now, and push it away. Some use humor. Some use distraction by self-medicating. It all depends who you are and what it is that, that you're good at, and escaping. Escaping the truth, escaping dealing with things that you feel will be too painful. But the truth is whatever that truth is within you and your own spiritual, divine, fated plan for your life, you can't run away from it. You can't hide from it. because it is your truth. No one else's, yours. And so you can't latch on to someone else's, you can't hide in someone else's shadow. You can't live for someone else for too much longer. You have to be in that place of acceptance and surrender, because eventually it becomes just, I was going to say destroying. Yeah, eventually it becomes exhausting and it will destroy you. And so your soul, so, your soul's going to speak louder and louder until you finally say, okay, I give. Whatever this is, just do it and let me be at peace. And so that's what's happening here. For some of you, you're feeling some sort of upheaval, and you're feeling a presence of, okay, there is sort of a coming to a head, so to speak. Okay, like it has been sort of welling up inside of you, and so you're headed in the direction of surrendering to your soul. Okay, and some of you may not even know that the truth that is trying to get your attention is so much better than where you are now. If you could just see that and feel that. But I think that the wearing down of the feeling of discomfort and trying to run from your truth, I think the feeling of that will exhaust you so much that you will surrender and you will allow changes to come, because they will be in your highest good for your own personal growth and happiness. So we are in this cycle of growth, change, and life is a big lesson. That's what this is. And so when we don't pay attention and we run away, the cycle continues. And you continue to be like a car stuck in the mud, where the wheel is just spinning and not catching on to anything for traction. So the divine guidance is here for you. Your timeline is reaching its pinnacle, and it is time for change. And so our guides are whispering, and our soul is soon going to be like a megaphone trying to get your attention. That I feel that this coming next week, this week or two, maybe even in the next 3 weeks, you're going to be hearing more and more and more your soul speaking to you about what this is, about letting go, finally, of the resistance. And these cycles of growth are natural. They are part of your divine path, okay? They are part of progress forward. And for some of you, you have come to that point where something has changed, and it is divinely guided for you to move forward into whatever it is that is bringing about change in your life. For some, it's career. For some, it's love. For some, it's endings. For some, it's a natural order of higher learning spiritually, and a new perspective and understanding of things. Divine order is here. And I don't know who you believe in, but that whoever you believe in is great. But for me, I believe in God, and I believe God doesn't want me to continue being unhappy ever or unsettled. So he says, I'm bringing you these changes in every area of your life. And they are in your highest good. They're for your highest good. Okay? They are changes in, you're changing a cycle in your life. And so we are acquiring knowledge, right? We are moving away from, see how her light is shining high? She's coming out of that path of feeling insecure, feeling as if she was manipulated by the expectations of others, manipulated by her own self-loathing or self-sabotage. She's coming out of that. And so for many of us, our timeline, our soul is saying, okay, let's go. We're moving more into the light. The light is shining down upon you now to show you, to come into a greater understanding, to change and align our perceptions to what is the truth within our soul. Okay? So I feel in the next, beginning today as much as today, or you may have already been experiencing this, your light and the light from the divine is merging, aligning to show you more clarity, more peace, and the light is burning away the old feelings of insecurity. I feel as if some of you have felt as if you've been used and abused and caved into society and expectations, and you've sacrificed your own happiness. I feel as if you've missed out on something. And this is not a time to blame anybody else or to have resentment against anybody for feeling trapped in obligation to anybody. This is a time to accept and receive this guidance, this light, to be in that oneness with your truth, your path, and what is best for you. Okay? I am not going to say exactly what's best for you because your soul knows that. And so our guides are with us now to say, you're going to start really feeling this, the need to drop the attitude of sacrificing yourself for others, the need to always put others first because of obligation or whatever it is, because of tradition, because some of you have been experiencing is, well, I want this, but if I do, what will others think? I don't want to be in this relationship, but what will happen if I end it? What will my family think? What will my kids think? What will happen? So some of you are coming into that that greater awareness of self-worth and the importance of doing what your inner light has been exposing, the truth. Okay? This is not all about, this is not doom and gloom. This is not about, all endings being depressing and sad. This is about walking out of one timeline and going into another, a new chapter, a better version of you. And it's not about selfishness, okay? It is about selflessness and putting aside all of the other things that thoughts and obligations and traditions and whatever else everybody thinks of you, I think that's all going to be sort of what I'm hearing is pushed out with the light. Pushed out with the light. Because your soul says, enough, enough. You're carrying around my soul. Your body is carrying around my soul. My soul is, it is of the utmost importance to honor your truth. Okay? And so in this next time frame that's coming up, you may be feeling some fluctuations, but really what it is it is a changing of the guard, so to speak. Okay? And so your soul is taking over. This is not a scary thing. This is a great thing. This is a blessing. All right? So the divine says, observe that. And don't be afraid and mask it and run away from it. Observe it and let it sit. Let it be. Let it guide. Let the light push you forward, propel you forward. Okay? That's what's happening. And whatever area of your life that applies to, that's what's happening. It hurts worse when we resist, guys. Okay? But why would we resist something that the outcome is so much better than what we've been in? Why would we resist that? We have to be in that place of acceptance. We have to be in that place where we love ourselves enough to allow these changes to come. That's what this is. That's what this is. And so, I'm told, I was actually given a guidance to read from the Rumi book of poetry here. This is actually a Rumi was an intuitive painter. And so way back, I'm not sure when exactly, but it's before our lifetime. Rumi was received messages and painted as a result of, he painted the messages. And so also created poetry. And so I was guided to shuffle. I shuffled the deck. A card actually literally flew out of the deck. And so I feel it's appropriate now to read this passage to you, okay? Here's the card. And so I'm going to read this. Oops, sorry about the camera work there. Just trying to focus on two things. I'm going to read this poem and the message that comes with it because I feel it's so fitting. I surge on the uprising of love. No gravity can stop me from rising. The moon pulls the tide of the life towards her, and my soul, in oneness with all of life, answers her call. A wave of love consumes me, and upwards I fly, flying through water to greet her shining body. Led by my heart, my wits are addled, and my mind becomes a blurry mess. And so I feel instead, I feel the truth of her love and the divine reflection that shines back at me from her radiant heart. I'm going to read the rest of this quickly because I feel led that something in this might trigger something in one of you or some of you. Greater forces of planetary movements affect us all. We experience day and night through the interplay of the earth, sun, and moon. This is a profound and obvious effect. The movements of the cosmos affect us deeply, body and soul. Some movements are perhaps less obvious in form, but are just as great, if not more so. In fact, upon our spiritual growth and life experiences, you are going through a cycle, or very soon will be, by which you will be moved by forces greater than your own personal will. This is a karmic period, a time during which the movements of greater planetary bodies will have an impact upon the earth and humanity. This is the way of things, greater cycles affecting smaller ones. This is the way of things, greater cycles affecting smaller ones. The smaller ones are not less important, but they do have to bow to the power of the great in oneness with the magnificent unfolding divinity that is life itself. What we always have at our disposal is choice as to how we respond to these affecting movements and cycles. The effect of this karmic cycle now unfolding in your life is to bring into sweet surrender and awakening into greater love. What a delicious divine destiny! However, even if we sense at one level that a shift has a positive end for us, we can encounter resistance and fear, born of ego, in response to the stirring of spiritual uprising. We may quake in the holy body and wonder if everything is getting out of control and into some disorder. We will be right in our sense of imminent chaos. The disorder, however, is the ego perspective because its range of vision is so small, too limited, and comprehend it is too small, too limited to comprehend the greater workings of the planetary systems that move life towards love. That is as it should be. The teacup is not made to hold the ocean, just actually a cup of tea. But if we begin to imagine that the cup of tea is preferable to the ocean, simply because it is more containable, how much will we miss out on? And how terrifying when we actually are thrown into the ocean and moved by it. Its sheer power, its wild force, and its passionate dance with the moon might have us fearing that we will most certainly die. Yet the only thing that is dying here and now is your grasp, your attempts at control. Why? Because your heart is more powerful than your fear, and it wants to live in total trusting surrender of the unfoldment of life's genius. It wants to let life happen. Oops. Bear with me here. We seek to impose a smaller and less interesting story upon our life when the great master storyteller is weaving a fantastic tale of great love, great adventure, and sublime spiritual success. No, it is wiser, wilder, and more fun to surf the great wave of consciousness seeking to overtake you. Dive in, surge with it. You are being given a gift of grace in this oracle. The promise that you won't drown, and that you will, in fact, be given a glimpse of your own divinity, should you choose to accept whatever will be offered to you. Don't try to swim against the tide of your own life journey. Go with it. The divine is there waiting for you, orchestrating waves upon which you will reach the heavenly shore. Yes, the divine is there waiting for you, waiting on a picnic blanket of fabric of the heavens, with a sacred feast of earthly bounty just now being unpacked in your honor. Get yourself into that ocean and ride those waves to your sacred date with the divine. This oracle comes to you with a message. There are changes happening and they will be out of your control. This is because you are ready for accelerated life change. Rather than paddling, you'll be caught up in a wave and move farther faster. Let yourself surge on the energy of what is happening, leading with your heart and just going with whatever unfolds. This will bring you the best fortune and open you up to the divine destiny that is your birthright. There you are, my friends. There's the message. Enjoy. Let it resonate where it will. It has been my honor to bring you this message and to join you and to be with you on this journey. Namaste.